We're about to dive into one of the most unsettling cases I've come across. And look, this isn't just a story about a man who disappeared. It's really a story about how the entire system we trust to find the truth can completely collapse, leaving behind a mystery that might actually be impossible to solve. Okay, so I want you to imagine this. You're heading out to a party with some friends, you know the scene, music's playing, everyone's just talking, laughing. It's a totally normal night. And then, just like that, something changes. The whole vibe of the night just shifts. And you're gone. Just gone. Nobody sees you leave. No one has a clue what happened. Then a month later, your body turns up in a place that police say they already searched. So how on earth is that possible? That's what we're going to get into. We're going to walk through what happened that night, figure out why that first search failed so spectacularly, and really dig into the bizarre contradiction at the very core of this case. All right, so it all kicks off right here. We're in La Cygne, Kansas. It's April 2004. A 23-year-old guy named Alonzo Brooks heads out to a party in the countryside. Now, people who were there said the vibe got tense. There were arguments, some really weird interactions, and then, poof, Alonzo just vanished. So once Alonzo's officially reported missing, a huge search gets underway. I mean, they bring in trained teams, canine units, the whole shebang. They're combing the fields, the woods, and they pay special attention to this creek nearby. And what do they find? Zilch. Absolutely nothing. It was like he just evaporated. And then for a whole month, just crickets. The case goes completely cold. So Alonzo's family, they're frustrated, they're desperate. They decide to organize their own search. And get this, in less than a day, they find his body. Right there, near the exact same creek, inside the exact area the professional search teams had supposedly cleared. So this right here, this is the massive glaring contradiction at the heart of this case. The official search finds 0. A month later, his body is found in the same spot. Right? Both of those things cannot be true at the same time. It doesn't compute. And that forces us to look at two possibilities, and frankly, they're both incredibly disturbing. And that brings us to the question that just flips this whole thing on its head. Did a whole team of trained professionals just miss a body that was right there? Or was the scene changed? Was something put there after they had already left? Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to change how we're looking at it. The question isn't just what happened to Alonzo. We need to go deeper and ask, what kind of system has to break down for something like this to even happen in the first place? And we can actually give this a name, an information flow collapse. Think of it like a game of telephone, but for a murder investigation. It's not just one missing piece of the puzzle. It's the entire chain of information, from what happened to what witnesses saw, to how it was reported, to how it was investigated, just falling apart at every single link. What you're left with is a picture that's so warped, seeing the actual truth is, well, it's pretty much impossible. So, in a perfect world, this is how it's supposed to work, right? An event occurs, someone sees it, it gets reported, an investigation starts, and you get a conclusion. It's a straight line. Information just flows cleanly from one step to the next. But look at what happened here. This is the Alonzo Brooks case. Right from the start, the witness accounts are all over the place. The reporting, delayed and unclear. The search comes up with nothing. And then the discovery, it totally breaks the timeline. You can see it here. Every single stage just completely collapsed. The whole system just failed. So the biggest single red flag here is what we can call a temporal disruption. That's a fancy way of saying the timeline is completely broken. I mean, think about it. A body can't be not there for a professional search team and then magically be there a month later for the family. It's a physical impossibility. This contradiction, it's literally the most important clue in the entire case. So let's really break down these two scenarios. You've got scenario A. The search team just messed up. This would mean multiple trained people and dogs all made the same mistake. It's possible, I guess, but it's a huge stretch. Then you have scenario B. Someone placed the body there after the search. Now that's also pretty wild, but it requires something totally different. It requires planning. It requires awareness. And here's the key takeaway. One scenario is about human error. The other is about deliberate, calculated intent. Okay, so what if we just assume scenario B is true for a second? If we do that, we can start to do something really interesting. We can actually analyze the behavioral signature of whoever did this. We're no longer just looking at the crime scene. We're trying to build a profile of the person who pulled it off. Just look at these traits. Somebody who places a body after a police search is not some hot-headed, impulsive person. No way. This person is patient. They waited. They understand the area. They know how to manage risk. Every decision they made was controlled and calculated. This isn't a crime of passion. This points to someone who is highly strategic. So what about all the other people at that party? Why was everyone so quiet? This brings up this really fascinating idea called implicit collective suppression. Now, this doesn't mean there was some big secret conspiracy where everyone got together and planned to stay silent. It's more subtle. It's what happens in small, tight-knit communities. It's this unspoken agreement to just not talk. It could be out of fear, or misguided loyalty, or just not knowing what to do. And sometimes that kind of group silence can be even more powerful than an outright lie. And all of this leads us to a really unsettling conclusion. The reason this case is still a mystery isn't just because it's unsolved. It's because it was never a simple story to begin with. It's what you could call an artifact of a failed system. Now, this is a really important point. In a lot of cold cases, you assume the truth was, hidden, or that evidence was destroyed. But in this case, it's something way more disturbing. The truth wasn't just hidden, it became non-reconstructible. The information flow is so messed up, the timeline is so completely broken, that you literally can't put the pieces back together to form a clear picture of what happened. The fragments just don't fit anymore. And so that leaves us with this one haunting question that just hangs over everything. Was Alonzo Brooks just lost? A tragic accident that everyone somehow missed? Or was he returned, taken and then deliberately placed there for his family to find? You see, when a system breaks down this badly, the truth isn't just hiding somewhere waiting for you to find it. It's fundamentally broken. It's been shattered into tiny little pieces scattered by messed up timelines, by silence, and by time itself. And those pieces, they might never, ever fit back together again. And that, right there, that's the real tragedy of what happened to Alonzo Brooks.